Hey everyone, welcome to another video. In this video I'm gonna be trying out the kind of new Nars Climax eyeshadow palette. I just recently got this in the mail. It just recently came to Europe and I'm gonna be trying this one out. Pretty excited about it, so let's get right into it. So if you haven't been to my channel before, my name is Marley and I love making YouTube videos about makeup and beauty. I love trying out new makeup, I love trying out new things. I also try to keep myself a little bit accountable and not buy too many things. So if that sounds good to you, then don't forget to subscribe. I usually upload about 2 to 3 videos a week and I would love to see you again on my channel. So I've actually never really tried Nars, not a lot at least. I have one cream bronzer by them and I haven't tried any of the eyeshadows. But I've been getting more and more curious, and then they came out with this Climax eyeshadow palette. This is what the outer box looks like. And this is really a fun fall color story. This has some really nice fall tones and I was like, you know what? I think this is a good moment and a good color story to try it. So this is what the outer packaging looks like. It's pretty bright red, not like the brightest red. It has a little bit of deepness to it as well. And I've not swatched this yet, I haven't used this yet, I only have opened it and looked at it. This is what the color story looks like. We have some more neutral tones, but also some green and some blue. And this is kind of like an eggplant kind of shade, purpley shade. And I think this is a palette that you can do really nice kind of soft looks with, but also some pretty colorful, grungy looks as well. And we have 4 shimmers, 4 mattes, and then this one looks a bit like a satin shade. And I thought we could swatch this live because it only has 9 shades and I'm just really curious to see what these shadows are gonna look like. By the way, I also got 2 other things that I want to try in this video. I got this little Laguna lip and cheek set. I've never tried the Laguna bronzer, only the cream version. And I've never tried any lip products by Nars. And this was on sale, so I was pretty curious to try this. So I have this kind of lip oil, lip gloss kind of product that looks kind of like goldy bronze. It has a shimmer to it, and then I also have a mini of the Laguna bronzer. That one looks like this. It's very nice and tiny. This is what the inside looks like. I always thought that this one was matte, but I found out when I was kind of researching this product that it actually has a golden glow, so I thought that sounded pretty interesting. It looks like a nice shade, so that's also something I'm going to be applying in this video. But of course the star of the show is going to be the Climax eyeshadow palette. So let's go ahead and swatch this palette. Let's see, it's a bit hard sometimes when the shades are on the back to really know what shade is what, but I believe the first shade in here is called Open Wide. And this is kind of like a taupey bone colored matte. I'm just gonna swatch it over here. So that swatch is pretty nice, pretty pigmented. It's not like as bone colored as I thought. I think if you want a softer look, you can definitely put this in a crease. And I also think that's quite a nice transition shade. The next shade in here is called Private Show, and this is a bit of a taupey shade with a purpley undertone. These mattes feel really soft, so let's swatch it down here. It's a bit deeper than that other shade. It looks like a really pretty kind of rosy taupe almost. I really like how this shade looks. Then the next shade is gonna be the first shimmer, and this one is called Passion Play. This feels really nice. It looks really shimmery in the pan. I do like shimmery metallics, so I'm really curious about these. Swatching that one over here, that looks really pretty and shiny. It looks like a really sophisticated kind of shimmery metallic. Looks really nice. It also feels kind of like textured in the pan, but not in a gritty way. Then the next shade is the shade called Envious, and this is a bit more rosy than that taupey shimmer that I just swatched. These feel so good in the pan, like they feel amazing. So this is a bit more like a rose gold almost. There's a bit of a pinky undertone. This definitely is more neutral and taupey. Then the next shade is the green shimmer called Hooked. And I'm very excited about this shade. This looks really good. It's kind of like a dark khaki shade. Like a cool toned murky green. That looks really nice. There's quite a chance that this is gonna be what I'm gonna put on my eyes today. This looks beautiful. So the next shade is the satin shade, and this one is called Next Level. And this is a bit of a darker taupe that doesn't have shimmer in it, but it does have a nice amount of pigment and shine. It's quite deep. It's kind of like a taupey brown. And then the next shade I'm gonna swatch is Up in Smoke, and this is the matte green shade. Really curious to see what this pigment is like. This looks a little bit warmer maybe than the shimmer. It definitely has a little bit more of a khaki undertone to it. Then the next shade, then we have Public Eye. This is the eggplant kind of plummy shade. This one feels a bit drier, but that often happens with shades like these. It does have a bit of a brown undertone, like a brown eggplanty shade. It also has some purple in there. And then the last shade in the palette is the shade Night Rhythm, and this is the blue shimmer. This is kind of like a grayish blue. That looks really nice. These swatches look absolutely gorgeous. These look so good. I'm really excited to put this on my eyes. I think these shimmers are the kind of shimmers that I would really like. They don't really have like duochromes to them, but they just have a really beautiful type of pigment and dimension to them, and I think that's gonna look really beautiful on the eyes. Alright, so let's do an eye look. I'm gonna apply these products to my eyes and my face. I zoomed you in a little bit. I already applied some eye primer. And I'm thinking I want to do something with the greens, but I don't want to just use greens. So I'm kind of thinking I want to start out with the greens. I just want to start out with applying this one in the crease. And then I'm kind of going to go from there. I'm not entirely sure what kind of look I want to do just yet. So I'm going to start with the shade called Up in Smoke. Gonna take a crease brush. I'm really curious to see how these colorful eyeshadows are gonna work. As I said, I've never tried Nars eyeshadows. I don't really know what their quality is like, but I've heard really good things. And honestly, for a long time I wasn't interested in Nars at all. I was like, they're always doing the same thing. It's not really interesting. It's kind of expensive. I didn't really know if it was worth paying attention to, but recently I've heard more people kind of rave about their products. I don't know if that's really something new or if it's just something I've been paying attention to. Could also be me. So the green shade, I think it's going on quite well. It feels a little bit dry, but nothing too crazy. It's not like the most effortless blend of my life, but it's also like a kind of cool toned green. I feel like it looks a bit more cool toned on the eyes than I thought it looked like in the swatch, which I like because I like cool toned eyeshadows more usually than warm tones. This also isn't like the perfect brush for it, but as always I forgot to wash my brushes and I don't have a huge amount of brushes, so sometimes I just kind of run out and then I have to do with what I got, with what I can still kind of clean, so that's what we're doing today. Okay, so this definitely isn't the most effortless blend of my life, but it's a shade that can be a bit harder to blend, so I'm not gonna be too harsh on it and I'm not using my usual brush. The blend is not as smooth as I would want in an ideal world, but it's definitely good enough for now. Now I want to go into the plum shade, I think. I feel like my white balance is a little bit off today. I can't really seem to fix it, but I feel like I look a little bit different than I usually do. The light is changing because it's fall and it's really cloudy nowadays and it's not as sunny when I film. But okay, I'm just gonna grab that plummy shade and I'm gonna put that in the outer corner and let's see how this is gonna go. I hope this one is gonna kind of fix what I put down. That's quite a deep shade. I guess it's also because it mixes with that green. It looks a bit different in undertone. I think if you use it on its own, then it's not gonna be as deep looking. Yeah, this is a shade that I definitely also want to try on its own to really see what it's like. But it's definitely a shade that you can get a lot of depth with. So you can go pretty deep and smoky with this palette. So now I think I want to go in with the green shimmer over here. This is a shade I just used. I'm gonna put that on the lid and I'm gonna put it a little bit towards the outer corner. I'm not gonna put it too much towards the inner part. This shade looks really beautiful. This looks really nice. It feels kind of like Odin's eye shimmers in a way. It kind of feels similar. They have this kind of thick, sticky quality to them that I really like. That makes a shimmer really pop on the eyelid and makes it really like stick on the eye. And I think this just looks really nice. And they have that dimension to them. I think these shimmers are really pretty. I only used one on my eye, of course, but I think this is gonna be a really nice shimmer formula. So next up, for the inner part, I want to go into this shade, and this shade was called Passion Play. I'm gonna put that in the inner part of my eyelid. This one feels a little bit less creamy than the green shade. Let's see how this is gonna look. I kind of want to bring some light back into this eyeshadow look because it became quite dark and smoky. Doing the same on the other eye. I also can't wait to do some neutral looks with this palette. I think that would be really nice. I always kind of blend through the crease after I've applied the shimmers, but I don't feel like these are shimmers that go everywhere. They were pretty easy to apply to a specific place. Now I want to put something on my lower lash line, and I think I'm first gonna go in with this kind of a rosy taupe that is called Private Show. I just want to try a lot of these shades to get a feel for this palette and for the quality of Nars eyeshadows. So just kind of starting out the lower lash line with this shade. That looks a bit deeper than I would think looking at it in the pan. I think you can already get quite a bit of dimension with this shade. And now I'm gonna go into the plum again and just adding a little bit to the outer part of the lower lash line and seeing how that looks. If it becomes more purple. Yeah, I think if you blend this in with the more taupey rosy shades, that it becomes more purple. If you use it to deepen up the green, then it becomes more smoky and less purple. I will fix this, clean this under eye a little bit in a bit. So that's how it's looking right now. And now I do want to put something else on my lower lash line. I want to put another shimmer there, and I think I'm gonna go with this shimmer over here that's called Envious. I'm gonna put a little bit of that in the inner part of the lower lash line. I think this looks pretty. I think this is a pretty shade. It just adds a little bit of shine there. I love putting shimmers on the lower lash line. Alright, so this is what the eyeshadow is looking like. And now I'm just gonna put on some mascara. I'm gonna kind of clean up under my eyes, put some inner corner highlight, and then I'm gonna try out the bronzer and the lip product. So I'll be right back to do that. Okay, so let's apply some Laguna bronzer. I feel like I'm the last person to try this bronzer. I feel like everybody already knows what this bronzer is like, and everybody's like so sick of it being in every Nars palette, every Nars cheek palette, but I've never tried this. I also never tried Nars Orgasm. I feel like That's like the basics. The basics of makeup knowledge. I don't know how this happened, but I'm gonna try it today, and after today I'm gonna know what's up. I'm gonna know what this bronzer is about and why it's such a cult classic. So I zoomed out just a little bit. I feel like then it's a bit easier to see what I'm doing on my face. I have no idea how pigmented this bronzer is gonna be, so I'm just gonna pick up a little bit and start applying. So it definitely has a glow to it. It's definitely a sun-kissed bronzer. I can immediately see that glow on my skin. I feel like it looks a bit warmer on the skin than it does in the pan. I feel like in the pan it looks quite cool toned almost, like quite a neutral shade. I don't feel like it's extremely orange or yellow leaning. I don't know if anyone is waiting for a review on the Laguna bronzer, but I'm doing it anyway. I feel like it blends out really easily and I really like that glow. It's not shimmery at all. I'm just really gonna bronze up, really gonna add a bit extra to really show you what this one is like. I like it. It's not too pigmented, it's not too dark, it's not too difficult to apply. It was pretty easy to do. And I like that sheen. It does look very nice and bronzy. I like how that looks. Now I'm just gonna apply the rest of my makeup, and then that glossy lip is gonna be the last step, and then we're gonna be done with this look. Okay, so let's apply some gloss. I will link everything else that I use on my face down below, so if you're curious about anything, it's gonna be in the description box. So this is the oil infused lip tint in Laguna, and I'm hoping this is gonna be very nice and hydrating. It doesn't have a bunch of pigment to it. I feel like you can definitely really clearly see where I put my lip liner. I kind of have to blend this together. Alright, I think that looks nice. I think next time I will probably put the lip liner all over or not use a lip liner and just use this. I feel like it's not pigmented enough to really make this work, or maybe use a little bit of a lighter lip liner, but it feels really nice and hydrating. I really like how this feels on my lips. It's very comfortable. So this is the finished look for today. And let's just go over these products real quickly. Of course, I tried the Nars Climax Eyeshadow Palette. I really love the shimmers in here. They have a beautiful shine and dimension without being too shimmery and too chunky. Sometimes these types of eyeshadows can get a little bit chunky, and these are really on the sophisticated side for those kind of shimmers, which I really like. I like having a sophisticated version of those. Really love the shimmers. The mattes, I just have to see what this green one is like with a different brush. Maybe it was a little bit patchy, not too crazy, but something I kind of had to take into account. The other mattes that I used, I really liked using, were really easy to blend, and the end result I really like. I think this is a really great palette. It's a bit on the expensive side, so you kind of have to think for yourself if it's worth it for you, if you think you're gonna use this a lot, if this is a color story that's inspiring you a lot. I know that it's inspiring me. I really love this for fall. But if you're looking for texture dimensional shimmers, there are also other brands that have these types of shimmers that are a little bit more affordable, like Odin's Eye. That's a brand that I would recommend, but those are often a little bit more chunky than this one. So in the end, I think this is a great palette. At least that's my first impression, and I can't wait to use this more. I really liked the Laguna bronzer. I actually can't believe I had never tried this, but I think it wasn't too warm. It is a nice neutral shade with a golden glow that isn't shimmery at all. It just looks really nice and sun-kissed. I really like this one. And this lip oil, it feels really nice and hydrating on the lips. It's not really pigmented. I didn't really expect that, but you just have to kind of figure out how you want to wear this. I think I might just wear it on its own. I think in the end it looks good with this lip liner, but I kind of had to blend it. I think think this is a nice lip product. I think this is gonna be very nice in winter as well. So yeah, that's gonna be everything for today's video. That's gonna be everything on the Nars Climax Eyeshadow Palette. Let me know in the comments, are you planning to pick this one up? Did you pick it up? How did you feel about it? I love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and then I will see you in my next one. Bye bye!